Welcome. I see you have arrived for your daily cock and ball torture. Well, honey, let's get started. I hope you're having a good day. Regardless, we have a topic today that really is something I feel strongly about, yet I am 100% open to criticism and conversation. The topic I am talking about, which you can likely tell by the title, is the problem with Lawbringer. Lawbringer for me is probably the most fun character in the game and has been since February 14th in 2017. Through their server issues, low frames, progressively improving fight mechanics, graphics, and overall health of For Honor, Lawbringer is a single character that I've always been able to fall back on when every other character became boring. Whether it was the gimmicks that other characters had not feeling satisfying enough or just me being pure cheeks with them, I always found Lawbringer to be the most fun and entertaining. There's four stages to the life of a Lawbringer. Actually, five. The Bronze Age, launch, the Silver Age, bug fix and animation fixes, the Golden Age, when the rework came out, the Dark Age, post nerfs, and the even darker age, current Lawbringer, where we're at now. Now, you may be wondering, how did Lawbringer go from the Dark Age to a darker age and barely anything has changed? You're right, barely anything has been changed, but we will get to that momentarily though. I would like to go over a couple of other things and recite some history. So, welcome to history. Class begins in 2 seconds. So, Bronze Age. First, I want to talk about something. Remember that classic Warrior's Den where people prompted Roman about a Lawbringer rework, and we were met with a surprising answer: learn how to play Lawbringer. To the average For Honor enjoyer, this was a funny meme, but to the average Lawbringer user, this was a funny meme with an aggravating undertone. Did Roman not understand that a lot of people who were asking for a rework had been playing the same character since the beginning? Was he hinting at a planned rework, or was he ultimately just flipping the bird to people asking? Regardless, this was a very aggravating period. Knowing your character was trash and was likely never going to get a rework is the most damning feeling. However, months passed, memes continued, and we all heard the learn how to play Lawbringer line so many fucking times at that point. It was all over subreddit, with three reactions: haha lol being one, what the fuck being two, and haha Lawbringers don't deserve to be able to play a fun character, lol boring as fuck anyway. Although the last was true for many, wouldn't the goal be to make the character more enjoyable to the broader audience? From a game developer's standpoint, I would think so. Not just for the people playing him, but the people who are fighting him as well. Now we get to the Silver Age. This was a time where people like myself started getting hopeful. There were bug fixes and a series of patches for the man himself, followed by animation smoothing. The subreddit was riddled with both Lawbringer doesn't need a rework and here's my ideas. Both were fair, as some really struggled against Lawbringer. He was annoying to fight if you couldn't think like someone who played the character. Even then, when you met someone who just turtled, it was frustrating for both parties. The people playing him, because now everybody thinks that you're just going to turtle against them, even if you're playing super aggressive like an absolute Chad throwing out heavies left and right. Or you're the person fighting him and you have to stand there and basically just give up, because what are you supposed to do if they're fucking reacting to everything? Well, months passed and we all came when Marching Fire was announced at E3 in 2018. The community was in a craze. Our biggest content drop to date: dope looking Chinese characters with curved swords. It was fucking crazy. We waited around 5 months for more information to be released, and like 3 weeks after that to actually have the update drop. Now we get to the Gold Age. This time was different. We heard the news. A Lawbringer rework was in the works, and God, it looked so hot, so juicy, like a prime rib, seasoned just right, that was smoked to perfection. The rework came out, and there were some outlying issues, but I myself was blind to them at first because I had waited so fucking long for this. I deserved to enjoy myself, right? Wrong. A lot of people had views against that. Lawbringer OP. Lawbringer is broken as fuck, bro. Please nerf. I mean, after all, the community all rallied when Roman said fuck the Lawbringer rework, but now we have the rework and now people want it gone? Or put through a blender? No. Don't do it. Now we get to the Dark Age. Well, it happened. Rightly so. I may main Lawbringer. I may have 70 reps and countless hours in Xbox with just the Lawbringer, but I could see why he was nerfed after having the rework for a few months. I was in denial, blind at first, but I soon opened my eyes to the issues. But I won't lie, When he was initially nerfed, I met it with more frustration than open arms. They took away things that made him ultra viable, and the step down was demoralizing to say the least. But the frustration passed, and then it came again. Now, he was in the same state that he was in before, but he had some pretty nail polish on, a pearl necklace, and bruises on his knees. The issue I had with Lawbringer at this point was that he felt clunky. He always has been. It was part of his character at this point. I mean, the rework came out, and they didn't change anything about that. So it was just there. It was part of his character, baked in. But even more so, seeing what the man could do, then taking a step back after his nerf and seeing how bad it could actually flow after really sucked. But I, along with countless others, made it work. I kept playing, and I mastered, or at least played to the point where I was just as comfortable with this version of Lawbringer as the past one. But then we get to the Dark Age, but darker. This is the meat of the video. The reason I wanted to make this video at all. Months pass, and we get more nerfs to LB. CCU drops and shit gets mixed up, but I like it. It's fun. Heck yeah, new breath into the game. Warmonger is released. Ultra stinky moment. Then along comes Griffin, Lawbringer's daddy, fuck buddy, and love child all in one. From a single cum sock laced with amphetamines comes this stinky old man, and his pits reek of pure bullshit. But he's good. He's strong, but he's boring as fuck to play. The issue with the Lawbringer is Griffin. Before the release of Griffin, you could complain about Lawbringer, but you really had no basis for doing so aside from frustration after losing a duel or getting your nipples clamped in a Dom or breach match. But now there was room to complain. We had something to compare him to. The Pimp Daddy bringer, Holden Cross, comes back. An old fucker who's mobile, quick, and shakes up the meta even worse than Warmonger. With Warmonger, her feats were the issue. But here we have a character with strong feats and a strong moveset too. But with this hero dropping, it brought to light to me a lot of issues with our beloved Law Daddy. He was so much weaker than he should be, not to mention he had things taken away from him that were later given to Griffin. Why? Was it because they didn't know what to do with Lawbringer, so they threw 5 darts at a board with issues the character faced written on it, and the issues it hit were the ones they did? Or did they plan months in advance to release Griffin, so they nerfed the Lawbringer and gave Griffin some of his gimmicks in order to make the character have some differences? You see, the most glaring of things that comes to mind is Griffin upon a whiff shove being able to follow up with a heavy. Seems stupid, I know, but I mean Lawbringer can't do this. He stands there like a Windows 98 computer trying to search for porn. Halted. Man stares out into oblivion, looking through the portal like, damn, what do you see, Lawbringer? But Griffin swings his bardiche around like a straight Chad, slapping hosts 5 towns over and causing a crack so loud it was heard around the world. But Griffin exposed a lot of issues for Lawbringer, namely teammate parries. We've all seen Freeze's frame check and overview video of Griffin, where near the end he goes over this glaring issue. It points out something that is baked into the code. They used Lawbringer as a basis for Griffin, so his bugs became Griffin's. After all, I did say it was Holden Cross and Lawbringer's love child, right? Well, with an itchy cock and a burning butthole, Griffin flies through the air like a homing missile if he's parried by a teammate and is locked onto an enemy. Dude will slide across the ground, get parry stunned, and bend over and present his cheeks to the enemy. But what do we know? The same thing happens to Lawbringer. So, is this baked into the code, or is there a fix for it and EB was too fucking lazy to fix it because they couldn't be bothered? Well, the world may never know. So we know Griffin is strong, we know there need to be changes, but the elephant in the room is that Lawbringer needs a change too. He should be more viable, but he needs to be carefully curated to where he won't be overpowered with pure big dick energy coated with a steel condom. Well, as you can assume by this segue, I have some ideas I love if you listen to or open your ears to. Not all of them need to be implemented, but they're all just ideas. Now, I'm going to save you the funny words, Magic Man, and just get to the point. My ideal buffs for Lawbringer are as followed. A light, light, heavy chain. A heavy, light, light chain. I don't want him to have a light, light, light chain because I know people are going to just abuse it. And it doesn't really fit Lawbringer. But I do believe he should have more light options to be able to get into his chains. You see, we also should have Hyper Armor return to his chain shove to allow trading to continue his chain. After all, where is the overpowered bit needing a heavy attack for 27 damage in order to continue your chain into a shove light for like 10 damage? I also believe Lawbringer should be given a shove light light chain. The light is obviously the finisher. It has no special properties, it's just a light finisher. Lastly, give the man the ability to throw chained heavies after a whiffed shove. Obviously, to counteract this, you can give the Lawbringer a nerf that people have been asking for ages. Nerf his frames on the shove. Make it to where he can be dodged guard broken, but allow the heavy to come out fast enough with no guard break vulnerability to be able to counter this, since his biggest punish off of the shove is a 9 damage light attack. Make dodge attacks be able to land safely if dodging the shove. Speed up the shove. Bam. Wobbling a good, but balanced. Is this too hard? Apparently. But this is the game we play. Obviously, all these buffs and nerfs are my own opinion. And I'm open to conversation, debate, and I will gladly talk to anyone about it in the comment section. However, I won't entertain people who say things like Lawbringer is shit and deserves to stay that way, or etc., purely because of the idiocy in wanting a character to stay shit and boring. Regardless, that's it. That's the video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking time out of your day to allow me to bitch to your ever so listening ears. And, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay safe. And as always, please stand by.